shit.
Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money.
Oh, I love that new intro.
Everybody, hey, welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you to master your mindset and maximize your money. Today is Thursday, and I am so delighted to be here with some of the most amazing Black women on the planet. You hear me? So today, we're going to get into a topic that I know hits close to home for me, and I'm sure for many of the queens right here on this panel, being the first person in the family to make it or achieve like a real level of financial freedom. With that comes the reality of people reaching out. Can I get a witness? Your family members, your friends, even people you don't even know, they're asking for money. We recently heard a conversation from Tyler Perry on Kirk Franklin's podcast. And oh, by the way, if you haven't seen it, you need to see it. It's a great podcast for Black men. I love it. But he shared that he had to fire his own aunt because she just didn't want to work. And another family member cut him off, got mad at him because he wouldn't hand over $1 million. That's crazy. So we're going to break down all of this and more. And I've got some amazing ladies. First of all, we got Dr. Sabrina S.E.W. in the building. Hey, Dr. Sabrina. Then we have the broker herself, who's going to be joining me in Atlanta next month at the All Black National Convention. We gonna real estate your ass. And it's going to be amazing. This is Miss Chalet. How you doing, lady?
Good to see you. I am so excited. I can't wait for next month. I'm counting down the days. I got the calendar. You know how you count down from Christmas?
I love it. She counting them down, baby. And then we have the one, she's going to be hosting one day, which I'm super excited to hear. You know why? Because she's not just a doctor where she can deliver your baby. Okay? She is not just a physician. Oh, no, she's not just a doctor, a psychic, where she could predict your future. And also, I wanted to tell you that she's a real estate agent. She could sell you a house now too. But she's also a stand-up comedian, and she could tell you a joke. And she gonna tell us all some jokes at A, B, and C. You better be funny. I'm bringing my tomatoes.
I'm always funny. That goes without saying, honey. You better find out. But
I'm gonna have my tomatoes in the bag.
No, we don't do that, honey. You know, because you don't get picked to do a show at City Winery if you're not funny. So y'all, I got a show, the latest show, City Winery, September 15th, Jokes and Notes. But I'm super excited. But I gotta give a shout out to Miss Black Hollywood because that new intro, we sparkling. I'm like, look at those ladies. I want to be one of those ladies. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I am. You took us to the next level, child.
Yes. Clock that tea, baby. I love it. Listen, so this is absolutely the right panel to have this right discussion because these are all highly successful individuals. Why your money and success can isolate you from family. And so before we get into it, I want to ask all of you, and I'll start with you, Miss SEW. I love SEW, by the way. Dr. Sabrina, have you had a situation where you've been isolated because you quote unquote made it?
Well, not so much isolated, Constance, but just the constant expectation that because you have certain things or you've done certain things that you will do certain things. I think that for me is sometimes overwhelming. Just that weight that I carry. And sometimes I know yesterday we were talking about guilt, mommy guilt. And sometimes there is a guilt that is associated with that as well, too. I mean, there's a very heavy weight. And I'll give you a brief example. Just on Monday, I attended a relative's graduation, and I had another relative look to me, to just having a conversation. And I was encouraging him to do something different with his life. And he looked at me and he was like, I'm not strong like you.
That's so
Wow. Yeah. So I mean, it can be heavy.
yeah, that is a heavy burden to bear. What about you, Shalay? Have you been isolated because you've been the one that made it, or have you been that go-to person where everybody's got a handout?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say isolated because I was the one who made it. I would say isolated because I've always been that person who was the go-to. And then when you start saying no, it's like you never said yes.
Ooh.
So, yeah, so I felt that isolation real strong. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you, Dr. Charm?
Fortunately, I have not had that issue with my family. They have not asked me for money. I think it's been isolating being I was the first person in my family to graduate from college. And then, of course, attend and finish medical school and graduate with a medical degree. I think what's been isolating is just having a different knowledge base than the family, and especially when it comes to mental health and psychology, because we've had some family members with mental health struggles. And so because I have the training that I have, that's where we have gotten more into conflict, because I'm like, this isn't normal behavior. Like, boom, 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 we need to address this. And then I got definitely retaliated against when people didn't speak to me for 2 and 3 years in the family. Like now, now I was proven to be right. Now, did I get an apology? No. So that part can be very isolating. But as far as the financial, I have been blessed to not have anyone like come at me like that. But the weird thing is me being a doctor, and then I decided to go into the entertainment about 10 years ago. And I was thinking my family was going to be like, what are you doing? But the funny irony of it is they saw how much I achieved as a doctor, and nobody like said anything about, oh, well, what are you doing the acting for? My uncle was like, go get on Empire. Y'all, I was on Empire, and 3 weeks later. So that part, like they know, like, okay, she's a go-getter. So we know whatever she set her mind to, she gonna do. So that part,
The power of manifestation. So your family believes in you, and I love that for you, because we all don't have, that type of support system in our families. I would say for me, I didn't have no kind of isolation. My family is, they're amazing. My immediate family never asked me for anything, except for my mama, but she asked it from it, even if she don't need it. She just want to see if I'm gonna give it to her. But like my siblings, they don't ask me for much of anything. I will say I do get asked. This is how it used to be for me. So my cousin would call me and she'd be like, girl, how's business? And I'd be like, oh, girl, I did this and this and this and this. And I'm telling her all the great things I did. And she's like, okay, now that I got that out the way, can I borrow $1,500 to pay my rent? So I would get that. So then when she started, I got hip to it. And she actually called me when I first moved out here. And I hadn't talked to her for a year. And she was like, hey, so how's everything going? And I'm telling her all the terrible things that just happened, in my life, and in the back of my mind that that I know she may beg, but more than that, I was just catching her up with my life. I'm going through this really tragic divorce. I had lost like $1 million. I had all of these things happen. I didn't have to close my business, but I chose to close my business and move across the country and do all these things. And then after she allowed me to vent for an hour, then she hit me with the, hey, so I need to get some money so I can pay my rent. And I was like, damn. So what I learned even back then, because I was that person that, and I'm very generous. So you ask me for money, typically, if I have it, I'll give it. And I remember back in the day, I had this board, and my uncle still teases me for it, because I had a board that everybody who owed me money. So you come in my office at home, there was just this board, like $500, $50, that, or whoever. But my first lady, she tried to coach me, the first lady in my church. And she said, no is a complete sentence. And I was like, but I got it. But what if, she's like, no, like you have children, you have responsibility, you have this, you have that, and just say no. But what if I have it? Okay. If you want to give it, that's fine. But if you don't, just say no. And you don't owe anybody an explanation for it. And I was like, okay. So I've learned to adopt that in my later years, that it's okay to just say no. And if people don't like it, that's their problem and that's not yours. You can choose to give and you can choose not to, and be okay with it. But on Kirk Franklin's podcast, Tyler Perry was sharing, how people showed up for him. And it was so funny. Let's look at the video and we'll discuss it.
Do I have to bring along? How do I have to let some go? It's like bossology and family. How do y'all struggle with that tension?
I fired my aunt.
I feel her.
I fired my aunt. She said she wanted a job. She was She would always call asking for money. I'm like, okay, I was sending the money. I was like, listen, I want to help you. I don't want to help you build this thing, not be welfare to you. So let me give you a job. She wasn't coming in, calling in all the time. I was like, okay, well, you got to go. Because you want me to hand you the money, but you don't want to work for it. See, that doesn't work for me. And it's the same way with my son. Like, he's 10 years old. Like, there's certain things that he wants. He has to do chores and work for it. That's right. I don't believe in giving us things that are just going to handicap us. That is the worst thing you can do. And I've had family members that I've done that to because my mother has asked me to. And when she passed away in 2009, I sent all of them letters saying, listen, you got 60 days to become gainfully employed because I'm not going to keep supporting you like this.
Are you serious?
100%. They all got jobs. Yep. And it wasn't even jobs where they're making a lot of money, but it was a job. It was something else for them to do, to feel some pride in. Right. That's the same thing I would want somebody to do for me.
But do you still get like the backsplash from that? You know how you said they wasn't making a lot of money, then they can look at you and say, well, why I can't have more? Why am I working next to somebody to make more than me?
I have family members that got mad at me because I wouldn't give them $1 million. Wow.
You know, and I asked Jay this question because I'm actually going through that right now. Wow. You know, when you start getting success, people start pulling on you. I just turned 38 today. Today's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Yeah, okay. Happy birthday.
And I'm going to be able to talk about this for the rest of my days. I'm sitting here with legends on my birthday.
But here's the focus, though. What are you trying to do? Like, what if you're trying to build a business to carry everybody in your family through? That's one thing. Right. And if you're trying to do that, then build a business. Yeah. What that means is you got to watch the family members that come putting holes in the boat that you're trying to get across the sea. Right. So sometimes you build a boat by yourself. Right. Y'all all wait over here on the shore. Stay here. I'm building this boat. I'm going to go over here and build this, and then I'm going to come back and see who's worthy to come. Right. Because anybody who's going to drag you down or put holes in the boat or try to destroy you, man, why bring them over?
I had to get rid of my whole.
Wow. So the funny thing I think was funny is he's like, have you ever felt bad about it? He's like, nope, next. So let me ask all of you that. Have you ever felt bad or felt some kind of way or felt guilty for saying no to somebody that you love? And I'll start with you, Dr. Charm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm working through that because I was told by my therapist that I have survivor's guilt. So from just kind of just making it out of the conditions, because we really came from some disadvantaged circumstances. I came from a family that had very strong values, but my father was absent, my mother struggled. And so that's something I'm working through now is this survivor's guilt. And I think we can't be of service to anybody if we are not embracing our happiness and embracing our achievements and accomplishments and even our goals. Like we're not of service to ourselves, and we're not of service to the people in our lives. And with Tyler, I understand where he's coming from, because even if the person is just, hey, Tyler, I'd like to start a business, and he's helping them with the business, like just sitting around just collecting money. I get it. Tyler works really hard for everything that he has. And I think that sense of entitlement for his family members, like, well, he made it, but he worked hard. So why can't you work hard? And it gives me the perfect example of Beyonce's cousin, Angie Beyonce. Angie was Beyonce's personal assistant for many, many years. And I always see her post on IG how she says, we worked on this costume. Me and Mama Tina helped, construct this. And we put crystals on the shoes. And now she's one of the cast members on Tyler Perry's Sisters. So I love how Beyonce has put her family on, but they all have their own careers.
That's dope. So that was actually a good segue into our break really quick. But I want to ask not only you all, but I do want to ask the people in the chat. Y'all, have you ever felt guilty for having to say no? And if you have, if you felt guilty, say yeah. But if you had to say no, what happened? What was the situation where you had to say no to somebody? And how were you able to recover from that? And did it ruin your relationships? So we'll talk more about that. And I want to ask Shalay and Dr. Sabrina when we come back from the break.
Woo! It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com.
So listen, we are talking about survivor's guilt, or sometimes called survivor's remorse. It's when you become really, really successful and you have this guilt by leaving everybody behind or not having your people come along with you. And I love that example that you shared, Dr. Charm, about how Beyonce has put her people on, and now she's able to stand on her own 2 feet. And that's really the idea of teaching people how to fish rather than feeding them, right? So I want to ask you, Shalay, have you ever been in a position where you've had to tell somebody no? And have you felt guilty about it?
Yes. So I used to feel guilty all the time. Like, again, I was kind of raised and programmed to be the workhorse for the family and always say yes. And I was the go-to for, oh, this needs to be done and that needs to be done. I'm gonna be honest, it's still a work in progress sometimes. I'm much more proficient with saying no now. Like, no, can't do it. Sorry, I get somebody else to do it. But with certain people that you have a soft spot for, I do find myself in this position where it's like, well, damn it, I got this renovation going on and I got to pay my bills, but okay, maybe it's only $150 and this person really needs it. I have still even now been in that situation. So it still is hard to say no. It's just easier than it has been in the past. And what I realized, especially with that person, it's easier for me to say no to that person now because I realized I had to come to the realization of how transactional the relationship was getting. Like you were saying about your cousin who called you when you moved out to California and just waiting for you to get through your stuff and then asking you for money. I have had very similar experiences with that. And because I always said yes, and that person knows I want to help my family, then I feel like definitely at a certain point I was being taken advantage of, right? And then when you realize that, first of all, it's hurtful because you want to believe that someone is loving you for you and wants to talk to you for you. But then when that, veil goes away and you realize, oh, this is a transactional relationship in a lot of ways. Like you're calling me to see what's up and what's going on in my world so that you can get to the point where you ask me for something.
Right. Buttering you up for the kill.
Yeah. And it still happens from time to time. But I've definitely, it's easier for me to say no now to that person, but it's easy. I'm a blanket statement. It's easy for me to say no now.
Yeah.
Especially to other people.
When I think Dr. Sabrina, you could probably attest to this. As you get older in life, it's easy for you to give no fucks about anything. And I'm sorry to say that because I know you are a good Christian woman, but it's easier. The older you get, it is easier for you to not give 2 fucks about a whole lot of people, what they think about you. But I do want to know if you've ever felt guilty for having to say no.
There have been times, I got to be 100% transparent. There have been times when I have felt guilty because in my case, the people that were asking really did need. There was a legitimate need. They weren't just asking to be asking me. So I knew that. But then I had to, really think about, are they asking me to borrow the money or are they asking me to give them the money? In many instances, the way they came at me was, can I borrow the money? And I'm looking at them knowing, hey, if I give them this money, I'm not going to get it back. So then that's when I have to do a self-evaluation, look at my budget, my finances, and say, hey, where does this put me if this person does not, give me the money back? And I've had both cases where people did do what they said they were going to do, and then others where they didn't. But, feeling some type of guilt, that was your question for me. If I'm being transparent 100%, yes, I have dealt with that before.
Understood. I want to go to the audience because I see Booker said, "What's up, Booker? Booker from Fort Worth." He said, "No, I gave them jobs and showed them how to invest their money." I love everything that you said about that. Give them money, teach them how to fish. I just recently had to say no to a family member, and then said family member tried to guilt trip me for it. I shut it down immediately, looking out for myself and my mental health. And then you got Dr. Teresa. I look forward to seeing you on Net 7 Nation, Dr. Teresa. Initially, yes, felt guilty. After too many asks, became easier to say no. I love it. And then C. White said, believe me, if I have an agreement and you don't pay me back, see you in court, I don't play that. You know what my mama taught me? Let me see. L. Williams said, whenever someone borrows money from me, I just count it as a loss. I don't loan out money more than I could lose. You know what? I'll do it one time. A lot of times, my mama taught me, go ahead and, and if they don't pay you back, they'll never get it again. That's what my mama say. I don't loan money to people who already owe me.
Yeah. Yep. All of that.
Reason to say no. I don't loan money to people who already owe me. So them ones, because them the ones that are likely going to come back and ask you again. And you ain't paying me back the first time? Nah. And now you really, first time it was just $10. Now you really in a bind. Yeah, sorry, can't do it, shawty. You owe me $10 from the last. I don't do money for. I don't do it.
Well, the ante is it usually gets increased. Yeah. The next time they ask, it's more, and then it's more, and then it's more. But yeah. I agree with that comment because I used to lend money. Oh yeah, let me let you borrow some. No, now I don't give I don't give the money that I am not comfortable losing.
Yeah, yeah. So let me ask you, Shalay, while you are talking, so when you do loan money, because some people say, you know what, I'm not going to loan it if I can't lose it. And some people say, listen, there are rules. I have boundaries. When you loan, do you have like boundaries or rules that come along with that?
I don't loan anymore. I don't do it. If someone says, hey, can I borrow $500 for you? Now, of course, you want to hear them out and really listen to the situation. But if someone says, I would like to borrow $500 from you, if I'm comfortable giving you $200, I say, no, I'll give you $200. You can't borrow $500. I'll give you $200.
Okay. So you don't even borrow. You just give it here. Mm-hmm. I don't even want it back because we ain't even go there. Okay. What about you, Dr.? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
No, I was just going to say, like, it depends on the relationship, but some relationships are not worth destroying over $100 or whatever like that. And if you know that person has a propensity to not either have it to pay you back and everything like that, but they really need it, I just give what I can afford to lose.
Yeah, there you go. So you know what? I want to piggyback on that then. Let's stay right there, Dr. Charm. What's the difference between maybe helping somebody and enabling them? How do you recognize when you cross that line from helping to enabling? And you got
realizing that it's not really benefiting them in the long run. And as far as like the borrowing money question, like I haven't had to borrow money from anybody for 10 years. Up until recently, I was in between jobs and had to reach out for some investors for my real estate business. But everybody I borrowed money from 10 years ago, I paid them all back because I hate owing people. And this is something I'm working on too, is like being able to ask people for help, because it's like I don't like to ask people for help.
Yeah.
And I had to, be vulnerable and say, okay, well, you help people all the time, whether emotionally, whatever. Be able to ask people when you need help, because they get blessed. They could be getting missing out on a blessing because you didn't ask. Just like when I do something to help people, it just makes me feel good. So I think, we got to have, that kind of attitude. And I love to be able to help people achieve their dreams, just even as an encouraging person. But I did run into an issue with a client that I was doing some spiritual work for. And she kept saying, and this was very recent, I was doing some spiritual work for her, and she said, okay, I'm gonna pay you back on this day. I get paid on this. I'm gonna pay you this day. And then I'm looking up and it's not there. And I'm like, okay. And I was already splitting payments for her. And then finally I had to say, okay, you said you were gonna send it this day. I've already done the work for you. Like if you're not gonna pay me on this day, you need to let me know. And because now I'm working for you. It ain't like, hey, I'm just giving it to you because I can. And I had to put my foot down, and we had to end that relationship because she had the money. And it was like, why you don't want to pay me on time? So that's what bothered me.
Right. Okay. Dr. Sabrina, let me ask you, because I want to go back to that, the rules. Do you believe in setting up like rules for support, or is it better just to say no altogether?
It depends. I think it depends on who the asker is, and what the situation is, because every situation is going to be different. For example, I had a cousin one time to ask for money. This was a young kid that was probably 17, 18 years old that had got caught up and gone to jail. So the question is, this is a first time offender. Do I want to give him a chance, help him, or don't I? Well, in that case, maybe we do set up some rules for the repayment. But then there are some people that may just be, hey, I need this because I'm trying to go out of town, have a good time. And the answer, yeah, should be no. So I think, the circumstances and the situation, which, as Shalay said, you listen to what they have to say, and then that is the basis for your decision.
Yeah, understood. That's definitely, and then sometimes people think because you got it that they don't have to give it back to you. Oh, she got it. Oh, she got it. And don't worry about what's going on with my pockets, because you don't even know what I got going on. So how are you going to tell me? And that's another level of audacity, right? Is that when people are trying to determine what you have, and then they say, well, you got it. And then they don't want to pay you back once they get it, which is crazy.
Right,
but
those are my dockets.
Yeah, like I let you borrow it. It don't matter if I got $1 million in the bank and you borrow $2. Nick, you said you was gonna pay me my $2 back. You need to be a woman of your word. You a man of your word. Don't worry about what's going on over here. Right. But let's talk more about it when we come back from the break.
I know you're busy. You got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money, and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us, so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
All right, so for those of you who just tuned in, we are talking about survivor's guilt, why your money and success can isolate you from your family. And we've been having some really great conversation around what that looks like for each one of us. Everybody's been in a position where they've probably been asked to borrow money from, and some of us have been in positions where we've had to ask. Like I shared with the audience last week, my credit just got messed up, like out the blue. I have perfect credit, and I have to fight it right now because all of a sudden out the blue, this financial aid people from a Parent Plus loan that I totally forgot, they just put 6 months on my credit like that. Never, no reporting before, no notification, no nothing. So my credit score dropped in the middle of, I was getting ready to buy a new car, right? So I'm like, my mama around here bragging about her 800 credit score, mama says you bragging. My mama don't want to do it. And I'm like, listen, I've never had to ask for anything before, Mom. Don't even worry about it. Even though you over here talking about your little 800 credit score, don't even worry about it. I'll go ahead and get the 25% credit score because I got bad credit. 25% interest rate because I got bad credit now. You know what I'm saying? So what I got to do, I can rely on myself. So some of us have been in the positions where we've had to ask for help. And it's okay. Like there's ebbs and flows in life, and I'm okay with being transparent because that's gonna get wiped off anyway. I'm not even worried about it, and I can joke about it because I'm confident that we can take care of it. Now, when it happened that day in that moment, it happened right before I came online, and I was like, I told Tiara, I give up on life because my credit is everything, right? I was like, I give up on life, but I'm just getting taken care of, and we're gonna be good. But we've all had these ebbs and flows where we've been in a position where we've had to ask, or we've been in a position where we've been asked. It's just the reality of it. And it's just life, and it's just how life goes. But there is another video I want to have us watch, and we're going to talk about that as well.
Some people are very confused. So I want to be abundantly clear. Being a new money high earner does not mean that you are swimming in money. Being a new money high earner in most cases means you just started making a lot of money, right? Within the past few months, within the past year or two. So when people are like, well, why are you still in an apartment if you're making 300, 400,000? Why this, why that? Well, because I just started making the money, honey. Just beyond the obvious, like, financial literacy piece of it all, which is like, first and foremost, it's better to invest in an investment property, and you need to save up the money, the 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 in order to invest in that investment property. And that takes time. Generally speaking, most new money high earners have prior things that they need to resolve before jumping into spending their money on more frivolous things, one, or two, actually beginning their true journey to financial freedom, right? Because if you're a new money high earner, you probably didn't come from money. Maybe you're first gen, maybe you're a minority, whatever it may be. Maybe you've just been in school, but you probably have credit card debt. You may have personal loan debt. You may just have debt in general. And when you first start making money, that is what you are paying off. Right? So that's where a lot of your money is going to. And for some people, it may take a few months or even a year to pay that off. And then after that's paid off, you're focusing on building up your high yield savings account. Again, that's 6 months to a year worth of expenses. That could be 30 grand. That could be 60 grand. You're building that up. And then after that, maybe you want to build up a safety net in the stock market. You want to get a decent investment portfolio. And then after that is when you start, all right, financial freedom, let's go. And then it's the investment property. And then it's the house, the primary residence. And then it's all these other things. So, right, people, you're on here like, well, why don't you have this? You can't be making that because you're still in an apartment and this. And first of all, do not let social media deceive you. A lot of people are on here fronting, okay? Just plain and simple. Just understand that this is real life, right? And if you recently started making money, there's steps. There's steps to this.
So let me tell you to her point, because I know a lot of millionaires and I know a lot of high net worth people. Okay, so net worth does not equal liquidity. And this is what I need you all to understand. Because somebody makes a lot of money, they don't have a lot of liquid. And so most millionaires that I know, like just a couple of months ago, I just helped one of $30 million, makes $30 million in his business, right? I just helped him sell a property, and he's like, hey, I probably need to take some cash out of this property because I'm getting ready to make this type of investment. They don't carry liquid. Their money is tied up in other investments. So when I talk about, like, even for me, when I'm talking about my credit, your credit is king when you are trying to make other investments, because all my money, if I had all my money, see, there's a difference between earned income earners or wage earners and then wealthy people who have passive income. They don't have a bunch of liquid laying around so that they could give you. So their money is tied up in investments. So you think that people just have all this money in the bank, and they should not. I would not just I take my money out the bank and I put it into vehicles that generate compound interest. And so in order for me to get it, I got to go do some paperwork and do all of these other things. So for the average everyday working class person, money doesn't mean you making a lot of money or having a lot of money or being a high net worth individual. It doesn't mean that you're going to have access to a lot of money, liquid, and that's available to you right now, because most people don't. So what she said was absolutely on point. But to her point, for you, Dr. Sabrina, what are your thoughts around teaching people that financial literacy piece, and how do you translate that to your family and your friends and your loved ones to let them know, like, teaching them to fish as opposed to feeding them?
Well, it's a conversation that has to happen. For example, I had a cousin to reach out to me this morning hysterically, saying, I'm in over my head. I think I need to file bankruptcy. I'm like, wait a minute, let's get together. Let's sit down. Let's look at it, because it might not be as bad as you think it is. And a lot of times we have to have those hard conversations. And with that, what comes from that would be My goal for you is to help you learn how to fish for yourself. I see you over here, and yes, I could give you an easy answer, or I could do the easy thing for you, but in the end, that's not going to be what's going to sustain you. And so for her, the plan is to get with her, to sit down, to look at where she is, and to figure out a plan for helping her. Now, that may mean we have to do some hard things. We may have to cut back some things and cut out some things. Mm-hmm. But reality is she's going to have to ultimately decide what she wants to do and where she wants to go.
That part. That's funny because I had to my daughter came home last week from work, was like, Mom, I got a great idea, right? Because I talk about bankruptcy all the time. I'm just going to file bankruptcy. Because I'll be telling everybody it's the best thing ever. And I said, okay, I'm listening. And I'm thinking to myself, girl, you must be crazy. But let's go ahead and listen to what you got to say. And she's like, okay, I got $10,000 in debt because she was trying to get her, I don't want to say her little, but she was getting her hair business off the ground. And she invested, credit cards, investing money in buying inventory that she couldn't sell. And so I listened to her and I said, do you know if you focused on your real estate business, that $10,000, that's one deal. It's one deal. So no. So having these critical conversations with our family members is crucial. But Dr. Charm, for you, have you been in a situation where you've had to, give some lessons on showing people how to fish rather than to feed them?
Well, like I said, I haven't, none of my family has come to me for money or anything. So that's been a blessing. But definitely, again, as I talked about from the mental health perspective in my family, I had people that talk to me for years at a time over a family member with a mental health issue. And then I said, okay, then y'all deal with it. And then they dealt with it. And I heard stories because it was you know how stuff goes around the family, 2 or 3 different people. Oh, they going through it over there. And I said, well, y'all had to learn for yourselves. And so it's still the same principle, is that sometimes people, when you do something for people, you rob them of that experience that makes them a better person and enriches them as a better person.
Amen. Amen. That's what it's about, enrichment. So for you, Shalay, I know you out here teaching the people. What are you telling people to do on how to fish rather than feeding them?
Well, I wanted to say something about the conversations with family because in my family, this goes way back, right? Like I remember being 18, like, y'all, let's go get our real estate license. Like, let's buy a couple, 3 families. Like we could all live in one and rent the other 2 and then save money. And then you go get a house and you go. That's what my mother wanted us to do, right? But then you get, I'm trying to say this gingerly in case anybody sees this later on. I don't want nobody mad, but it is what it is. Like, that's what we should have done. And then you get people thinking very individualistically. And sometimes it's because it's your idea. People don't want to do it. Oh, you said to do that? Nope, I'm not. Yeah, I got this. We don't need your advice and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, okay. And so I went and I did that. And I bought a multifamily. So I was the first person in my immediate family to buy a home.
For you. Congratulations.
Thank you. And it took a long time because I'm doing it on my own. But I was like, that's my goal. I was obsessed with it. I'm going to do it. Fast forward down the line, I have my own real estate brokerage and everything. I could have family come work with me. I would prefer not to, but I'm just saying, like, theoretically, you need money? Let me show you how to fish. You can come work with me. And I've even offered this a solution to people. Oh, I'm not really interested in real estate. I offered it to, I'm trying to sparse my words. I offered it to a family member and he actually was like, yeah, I want to do that. And then when I talked to his mom, she was like, well, I don't think he's really interested in real estate like that. And then he ended up going and working in a grocery store. Like, huh?
But you know what? That we learned in medical school.
So I just like, okay, I'm not saying anything else. And I don't like being that way because we need to have these conversations. But sometimes you just got to let people, okay, you just have to say, okay.
We learned in medical school, they told us this thing. They said, anybody that's ever seen you naked, they don't take you seriously. So when your family that knew you as a kid, because they may have changed your diapers, your spouse, or a boyfriend or girlfriend, but it's kind of like that rule that they don't, it's like, oh, well, this is a little baby that I used to change their diaper. Like, we don't take them seriously. Like, oh, I don't believe that. And I think that is true. So your
I
family
believe
like,
it's true. I
yeah, we
believe
saw you
that's
as a little
true.
girl in pigtails. We don't see you as this real estate broker mogul person.
Right. Well, I
Yeah.
believe that's true, but then I believe the other part of it is they actually see you doing it. They see you doing it, and some people just don't because it's you. Now, it could be a stranger, tell them to do the same thing and they'll do it. But because it's you, no.
My kids are real good about that. You know, the kids is the worst one when it comes to that. When you tell them, and then they little friends say the same thing. Like we was at in Miami a couple of months ago with Dr. Boyce. Now Dr. Boyce over there telling them the same shit I tell them all the time. Spin the game. They was over there like, I'm like, these little, I've been telling these Negroes this, but when it comes from somebody else, it's so much different, right? But you know, the thing about it, what you're saying is people don't see you, but they don't hear you. They see you, right? So what you do is louder than what you say. So just, you got to keep showing them and then they'll start to listen. But by telling them, you know, a lot of times I'm telling y'all, and y'all don't believe fat meat is greasy like that. I know you heard that saying, Dr. Sabrina, in the country. They don't believe fat meat is greasy. They go say.
Yes.
You don't know fat meat is greasy?
You never heard that?
I've heard that. I've heard that. I'm from the South.
Yes. Heard that. Dr. Charm, have you heard that saying?
Which one is it again?
You don't believe fat meat is greasy.
Oh yeah, I heard that before.
I've never heard that.
Shalay, she's from the Northeast.
No, see, I'm from the South, honey. I'm from
They don't say that in the Northeast. Oh God, we got to hang out in next month.
Well, or here's the other one. I can show you better. I can tell you.
I heard that. Okay, now look, my grandparents are from Columbus City, Georgia.
A hard head makes a soft butt.
Yes, I heard that one too.
Okay, we got some of them. But okay, let's go to these comments. I want to see these comments and what people are saying about this very topic. All right, so I truly believe and agree with them. Your family can be your biggest haters. Anybody on the thing, can y'all agree that your family can be your biggest haters? Somebody said, my rich family members offers me a job, probably higher paying than anybody else. No effing way I'm calling off nor coming in late. Bentley said, if I became rich, I'm buying a neighborhood and moving my family in there. They all will feel the blessings is just money. And that's why the people will have no one in the end. We got some more, but let me just really quick, Bentley. Let's talk about what Bentley said, because here's the thing. What I know. People don't value free.
No.
I don't give a damn if they are family. People don't value free. So you giving somebody something, that's why his aunt felt entitled to not show up at work, because that was a free job that she got just by virtue of being, I'm Tyler Perry's auntie. He gonna always take care of me. And no, sis, that's not it. You know, one thing I used to always do for my agents, I gave them everything. And then it wasn't until I took the shit away that they actually wanted and they appreciated, but they don't value free. They just don't.
Money is an energy exchange. And so when you look at it like that, yeah.
Yeah. So with that being said, let me ask all of you, and I just put my opinion out there, so I don't want to skew anybody's opinion. Would you like, you know, if you had a lot of money, you would give your family members money, or would you make them work for it, Dr. Charm?
I would like to set my family members up with the business. I think the major issue here too is that we have a wealth gap. And so when you have people who are only 1 or 2 generations that have just made it out of poverty because we didn't have anything to pass down, or what we had to pass down, like I've had family, we had family that land was stolen from us. And so there are many other Black families that had stolen land and lost wealth. And so when people do, quote unquote, make it out, they feel obligated to help other people. Look at what happened with Gabrielle Union. When she didn't want to, she wanted to go 50-50 with Dwayne Wade. And she said, you know, I'm taking care of family members and things. And so I think also there's a resentment that can be generated when, oh, well, this is the one that made it out. And there's a little jealousy. There's a little resentment. Well, they need to help. Tyler Perry. Oh, Tyler Perry working gazillion trillion dollars. He didn't give me $1 million. So I think in the immigrant community, they help set each other up for businesses, and may live a whole bunch of people in the house, and then hey, they do the susu. Okay, we help them get this person out. All right, we're in the house together, but then we gonna pool it so this next person buys a house and the next person buys a house. But I mean, they've come over here and have gotten some benefits from coming over here. But we're coming from a legacy of slavery, and loss of wealth. And so it's kind of like, we're shell shocked and trying to get it back. And so at the end of the day, I would love to, once I get in a position to really be able to set my family members up for businesses, I love to do that because I've got family members that are extremely talented and could use just, an investment here and there if they're responsible with it. And I like what Booker Williams said in the comments, how he said, I know we highlighted it, but it really struck me. He said, look, I showed them how to invest. And if somebody's listening to you, they're willing to listen to you, then yeah, like take them and guide them, because there are people who are hungry and they want to hustle. They just don't know how to make it happen. And you got somebody in the family that's got that game versus people that are just lazy. There's a difference.
Okay, Shalay, you got $50 million. What you doing? You helping your family? What you doing?
Okay. So I would love to help my family. And I believe that's so true what Dr. Charm was saying. These other cultures are able to come over and they're able to pool money and resources and then branch out from there. It all boils down to mentality. Because you can do that with the people whose mentality is reciprocal. You have to have a reciprocal mentality. It can't be you made it, so you need to take care of me and you need to give me something, because like you said, Constance, people don't value or appreciate free. So I would love to be like, okay, here we go, guys. We're going to buy some land. We're going to put some money in a trust. I want y'all to start businesses, but you can't want something for someone more than they want it for themselves. And if you give and give and give to them, when they don't have the reciprocal mentality, it's just going to be squandered. So I would love to land, trust, and business. That's what I would love to do for my family with $50 million. But also, and this is just the reality, it has to be with certain people. Everybody can't come along all the time.
Everybody can't come to the cookout.
Everybody can't come all the time. And you have to, and you know what? The people who can't come all the time, they're probably, if you build something great, they're probably going to benefit from it anyway. Or they're, a generation down the line, they're going to benefit from it. But you can't involve everybody in what you're doing, especially if you have a big vision, because some people can come in there and destroy that thing. So it's really about, who you have synergy with, who really wants to do something. You see them grinding out and doing things on another level. You're like, oh, if that person had $1 million, they're going to take off. You know what I'm saying? I would love it if we all get to that point in our culture where we have that reciprocal mentality, where it's like, you're doing for me, I want to do for you. That's how we're going to get up out of this. But until we all collectively get there, we really have to be careful and selective about who we bring in.
Good stuff. And so for you, Dr. Sabrina, if you got $50 million, what you doing? You giving it to your family? What you doing?
So, of course, I'm going to help my family, but I think going back to what has been the basis of our conversation is we have to understand that just giving someone something, no matter how much we have, is not the solution. If I give somebody in my family member that I know is a crackhead $1 million, what are they going to do with it? If I give somebody in my family that I know is an alcoholic, a gambler, $1 million, what are they going to do with it? So that's a conversation you have to have, and you have to think about as well. Where are the people in your family in their lives? Now, again, giving people money and not giving them the knowledge that they need, the education that they need to manage the money. I think we get so caught up on this, if I had the money. Well, that's just part of it. If you give it to them and you don't give them the knowledge, what we need to do is take some of that $50 million and send them to the Black Business School. And give them some knowledge, something to go in their head so that they know what to do with what you put in their hand. Because no matter how much you put in some people's hand, it's never going to be enough. So I think that's the broader conversation. It's not just about what we can give them, but are we equipping them properly with the knowledge to how to take that 1 million that I gave you and turn it into 50 million? I got my 50 million and I gave you $1 million of my 50 million. Now, how do you take your 1 million and turn it into 50 million? If we don't do that for them, what have we done for them?
What are we doing? What are we doing? And I echo all your sentiments. I mean, with my children, when I talk about how I told all my kids, this is my son who did this was 12, but I said, I'm gonna give you $1,000 if you finish this training so you get Dr. Boyce Watkins stock training program. offered it to all 4 of my kids. They were little. So he was 12. That means my other one was 10. That means my other one was 8. And I mean, my daughter was 17. So they were all young. My daughter thought she was rich. If it wasn't on TikTok or whatever, Snapchat, she wasn't doing it. But my oldest son did it. He was 12. And as a result, he took that $1,000. He made $8,000. It took him 2 years, but he did, like 12 years old. So those are the things that I'm talking about. It's like the parable of the talents. What are you going to do with this investment? So giving the money without the information is deadly. You have to sit down. And if I have the $50 million, I want to bring as many people along with me, but there are rules. There are boundaries. This is how we're going to do it. And if you don't, I'm going to give you a test. Here go a test. What you going to do with this 1,000? Are you going to bury it? Like the principle, the parable of the talents? Are you going to keep it, or are you going to invest it? What are you going to do with it? And then when we decide, or we see what happens with that, then we can go to the next level. But
Constance, I was going to say, maybe that's one way we could do a litmus test. Just ask the question: if you had this amount of money, what would you do with it? And the person that sits there and says, I'm going on a shopping spree, I'm going to buy, this car and that car and another car, then that tells you right there what they would do with the money. So why put it in their hands for them to do that?
Amen. Amen. You ain't gonna squander my shit. So for you guys in the chat, and I want to go to the next video. We have one final video, but I do want to ask you, you got $50 million. What you doing? What you doing with your $50 million? All right. So let's go to the last video.
Can we talk about being the first person in your family to make it? Especially in the Black community, being the first person in your family to make it, to go to college, to move to a new city, to make a certain amount of money is sort of like put on a pedestal in some ways. But when you're living through it, it can be so lonely, isolating. There's so much pressure that comes along with being the one who made it. And there's something called survivor's guilt, where you sort of feel bad for doing good because all the people around you tend to be in a different place than you're in. So what ends up happening is that we work so hard towards these individual goals that are sometimes very different than the things that the people in previous generations have achieved in our family. And we sort of can't keep our head above water because we're either putting time, energy, and money back into the family who may be dealing with other things. They may be in poverty or whatever the case may be. And then it's hard because your family oftentimes doesn't understand your perspective because they may have never gone to college. They may not have had a professional job, or they don't understand the things you deal with in corporate America. They don't even sometimes understand what you do at all. So what ends up happening is that you end up isolating and feeling alone, and you don't talk about what goes on because you feel like they don't understand. And then sometimes they only talk to you when they need things, or they downplay the things you go through, or they think you have more money than you do because you have a nice apartment, or you live in a city that is, popular or expensive. And I just think we need to have more conversations about this in the Black community, about how isolating it is when you set your child up to do great and to be better, but then they don't have the support structures to help them to remain in that position and to progress.
I mean, it's the first generation money in my family, so you the person, you're the winner and the loser. You know what I'm saying? That's how it works when you in this first generation. And there's nobody to teach you, nobody to tell you, it's that and the third. You got to learn from people you don't know and listen to the mistakes that they made. So
I'm listening to this, and this is funny because I don't get, for me, it's not lonely, or I didn't feel isolated. It's really funny because what it did is it gave me a false sense of love. So because I had, it attracted people. And I'm like, everybody loves Constance Carter. And I remember this guy I used to deal with. He said, he was a leadership person, and he said, 80% of people like you, 20% of them don't, some other percent of them hate you, whatever. And I'm like, not true. 99% of them people love me, and they will work for me for free. They love me so much. This is what I'm thinking. In my mind, I'm thinking this. And what I learned is the hard way is that they didn't love me. They loved what I could do for them. I made a lot of people a lot of money. And when I took the training wheels off and I stepped back and I had to deal with my own personal shit, those people were nowhere to be found. And that was a hard lesson for me, because I'm thinking They love me because I'm so generous and kind and loving and wonderful and all these great things. And I really love them and I want the best for them. And what I learned is they love you. They love what you did for them. That's a hard pill to swallow also when you're in that position and when you're a giver. That's tough. Let's go to a commercial and then we'll come back and we'll talk about our final thoughts.
Are you a Black business owner looking to expand your reach? Well, has Fly Nubian Money got good news for you? We are building a Black business directory to connect you with customers who need your services. And here is the best part. It is absolutely free. Email us at info@realvirtual.net. Send us your business name. Tell us a little bit about what you do, what services you offer, your website address, and your contact information. That's it. Together, we are going to build and circulate the Black dollar. Get listed today and start connecting with people who are probably already looking for you.
All right, so I want to take a look at some. You know what? What's up? What's up? What's up, Anonymous? You out here talking shit today? I see you in the comments talking shit today. Always. They, the producer didn't even put your stuff up on the thing today because you talking shit. If you guys don't, I don't even know what platform he's on because we're on like 9 different platforms, something like that.
Actually mild today, to be honest, comparatively.
He was actually really good a couple of days ago, and I was like, "Who is this? And what's gotten into Anonymous? I don't know what's going on."
Has he changed his tune?
I don't know. Maybe he drank less haterade on those days. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but some days he has more haterade than others. Who knows? But let's look at some stats. So intergenerational mobility study shows that only a small percentage of individuals born into the lowest income in quintile move to the top quintile in their lifetime. What the is a quintile? Could reference studies from wait, I didn't finish reading. Okay, go ahead. I don't even know what to talk about on that, but okay. Financial strain on higher. A 2021 survey found that 1 in 3 high income earners feel significant financial pressures from family members, often leading to stress and burnout. And then research indicates that establishing financial literacy and asset building practices is one generation can significantly improve the economic outlook for subsequent generations. Interesting. And Anonymous, we absolutely can handle your Black ass over there. So keep your bullshit coming. We love it. We love to see it. So ladies, I want to ask you, because we got to get up out of here. What do you wish that your family had told you before you became the one, that person? How, if there was somebody in your family that had already made it, what would been so great for you to know before you became that person, that successful person in your family? And I'll start with you, Dr. Charm.
What you said? What do I wish they had told me?
Yeah, or if they were successful or a successful person, what do you wish that they would have told you before you got your success?
It's lonely at the top, but I have an uncle who was such an inspiration to me because he started an HVAC business like 40 something years ago. He was a welder and he said, I want to have my own business. He named it AMN Mechanical, and it stands for Any Means Necessary Mechanical, in Las Vegas, Nevada. And he's such an inspiration, and he and my aunt helped me through medical school. So I got to give a shout out to them. So we got to reach back and help others. But my final thought really is that I am really inspired by just being on this platform with Dr. Boyce and Constance and you illustrious ladies, and just to be on a financial mission. 5 years ago, I had a terrible credit score, and I started working with Nove, a Black-owned company called Nove, and they helped me build my credit score to where I was able to walk into a mortgage broker and have over 700 and get my first house, which I still have to this day, which is for sale. Anybody need to buy a condo in Chicago, you can hit me up. But now I have joined Nove as a member, as a business owner, and it has been so really refreshing to be able to do good. Nove is one of the fastest growing companies in America, as published in Inc. magazine 4 years in a row. We build personal credit, business credit. An 800 credit score is worth $100,000. And so that's really important. And we got to start with that mission. So we're a fintech company. We connect you with all kinds of things, y'all can go to my link, novemoney.com/CHTIMS777. And then I got a show at City Winery September 15th, y'all. You ain't got to be there. If you want to buy a ticket just to support me and just we can donate and give some free seats out. I got to sell some tickets, y'all, because it's my first show at City Winery, Jokes and Notes. So come through. The link will be in my IG. So come look at my IG, Charm Girl 77.
Good job, Dr. Charm. We couldn't even see it. We couldn't see your thing on your title. You got to take all that stuff off so we can see the whole thing.
No, girl, y'all know my IG. Just go to my IG, Charm Girl 77, and you'll see all the flyers. I'm gonna be doing I got a Shannon Sharp skit dropping later on tonight. Miss Shirley returns. How you doing, Dr. Shannon? Anyway, y'all come check me out.
Good stuff. Thank you, sis. So, Dr. Sabrina, for you, same question. You give your final thought on that. What do you wish somebody would have told you about being the one?
Well, being the one is not always easy. And sometimes it shows up in different forms. For example, when I was in graduate school, I remember feeling just stressed about something. And I called home to talk to my mom. And she tried. I mean, she was trying her level best to just calm me down, to talk me through it. And I remember telling her, you would say that. You don't understand. You've never done what I'm trying to do. And I heard a pause on her end, and she said, you know what? You're right. I have not ever tried to do what you're trying to do. But what I can tell you for sure is that you're not the only one. Maybe you're the first one in our family, but you're not the only one. So I want you to take yourself across that campus and you find somebody else that can help you. I can't help you, but there's somebody else out there who can. And so I think that's what each of us have to remember. Although we may be the first in our individual families, our individual circles, and we may feel isolated, there are others out there that are the first as well. And our goal should not just be to be the first, but we should have a personal mission to be a flow, the channel through which others flow. Open that gate up, open that door up so others can flow through it. And with that being said, I am Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, educator, author, and investor, opening minds and closing contracts. I am so noted. I am so excited and so delighted to be a panelist here on Fly Nubian Money. Yes, you can follow me across all platforms at I am so noted, and that's SEW Sabrina Edmond Williams. And hey, after these beautiful queens on here teach you how to build that wealth, somebody's got to teach you how to protect it and how to properly transfer it. And that would be Dr. So go on over to Amazon or grab this copy of Learning to Trust, the Black Family's Guide to Building, Protecting, and Transferring Wealth, or go to learningtotrust.org and get your copy.
Ow! I love it, Dr. Sabrina. You let them know. You let them know. Yes. All right, we're going to round it up with you, Miss Shalay Camille, CEO of Vital Source Realty.
Yes.
What do you wish they would have told you about being the one?
I wish that I would have known very, very early on that everyone does not deserve access to my harvest.
Come on.
And that's my financial harvest, my emotional harvest, my spiritual harvest. Everyone does not deserve access to that, and they don't just get that freely. So as a final thought, I believe that success is wonderful, right? And really, this is going to be real short, y'all. Success is a blueprint. Success is not only for us, it's a demonstration, right, to everyone else about what is possible. So let our success be a blueprint, and success means different things for different people. Mm-hmm. And I just believe that we should all just keep in mind and have that personal manifesto within ourselves of what is success for us and what do we want to leave here on this earth as a legacy, right? So success is our blueprint. I am Shalay Camillo, CEO of Vital Source Realty in Boston, Massachusetts, but I can help you buy or sell real estate anywhere in the continental United States. So follow me on IG, at Shalay Camillo, and my website is vitalsourcerealty.com. You can leave me a message. You can get in contact with me any of those places, and I'd love to help you.
I love it. Listen, people don't hear what you say, they watch what you do. People don't hear what you say, they watch what you do. Take her off the screen, Doctor. People
Oh,
don't.
and y'all got to come to ABNC while I'm still on the screen. Get your tickets. All Black National Convention.
It's gonna
August
get sold
21st
out.
to the 24th now, I think. I think we added another day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, another day.
People don't hear what you say, they watch what you do. And this is what I think. I think that being the first in your family, it makes it really hard because I was one of the first successful people in my family, and I'm one of the few. And my bloodline, my kids gonna be all right, right? So they know. Everybody looks at my family and they see, oh yeah, they got it. They're the ones, and so it brings a little bit of pressure, but it's not just about the pressure, because you're walking on a road that no one showed you how to walk on. But let me tell you this, you were not meant to just survive. You were meant to build success. You need to take what you've learned, what you've earned, and you need to turn it into something that lasts beyond you so that you won't be asking nobody for nothing else. It's time for you to become the lender and not the borrower, the owner and not the buyer. You have to get yourself in a position to where you are the one that's lending or has the ability to lend. And maybe, just maybe, that idea that you've been sitting on, that dream that you've been pushing to the back burner, is the very thing that is going to unlock the next level of freedom for you. Not just for you, but for your whole bloodline, because that's what this is all about. That's why I'm inviting you to my Bring Your Idea to Life training, which is coming up this Saturday. Because if you have a story, a skill, a service, a solution, it's time to stop waiting and it's time to start building. So I want you to take that idea that's out of your head, and I wanted you to turn it into income. I wanted you to turn it into impact, and I want you to turn it into generational change. So go to Bring Your Idea, the number 2 life. Where my banner at? Bring Your Idea to life.com and join me and several others. There it is. For this transformational workshop. We're gonna get down and dirty with it. It's gonna be it's not gonna be a huge training, because this is designed specifically for a small group of people, because we get in the weeds. You have that idea. It's time to turn it into something that's generational and transformational. Now, we appreciate you guys all being here today, rocking with us. We're here every day to give you something that you could use. And the biggest thing about the information that you get here is we don't want you just to be a hearer of the word. What does the Bible say? Be a doer of the word. We're going to be here tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. And we should appreciate all your support. And listen, Miss Black Hollywood is having an event today at 7 p.m. Eastern. The retirement strategy hiding right inside your insurance policy. Miss Black Hollywood and Miss Aisha Verzi tonight, they're going to give you the strategy that's hiding right here in plain sight. You got to be on this call or this training tonight at 7 o'clock. Where do they go to get to it? How do they get it? How do they sign up? How do they sign up? This is a Fly Nubian Money Club. Go to flynubianmoney.com. Flynubianmoney.com. Thank you.
Can I give a shout out real quick?
Go ahead.
I got my Christmas shirt on because it's Christmas in July, the last day of July. Y'all, I just got $450,000 of my medical student loans completely discharged. Shout out to Saint Expedite. I went to my altar and I said to God, I'm ready for a financial miracle. 2 days later, I got the email. So, hey, y'all couldn't get
Wait. What's Saint Expedite? What is that?
Saint Expedite, he's the saint of, he is a Catholic saint of getting things done now. If you need something done right now, and especially financial, Saint Expedite, shouted them out. And for the rest of y'all, come check me out on Nove Money. I can help you get right. I might not be able to get $450 off your student loans, but I can get you right.
Wait, how do you get off the student loans? I need to get the student loan off me. How do you get that off?
We'll talk later. We'll talk off camera.
All right. All right, bet.
$450. Shout out Saint Expedite.
Yes. All right.
Tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel.